So tell me, what were you thinking? I read the report. Not only were you intoxicated with a 2-year-old in the car, but the 2-year-old was not even in a proper carrier.
It was a very selfish act of me, and I didn't think all the way through. I just wasn't thinking. And
in the police report, it says when they pulled you over, you almost fell out of the vehicle. And all the people were calling because you were weaving and swerving.
This case is rough. A mom was caught drunk driving with her 2-year-old in the backseat. She was swerving across the road, barely holding it together, while her child's life was on the line. Honestly, it's pure luck no one was seriously hurt. Now the question is, should she serve 2 years in jail, or does she deserve probation since it's her first offense? Let's take a closer look.
And are you Miss Vela?
Yes.
Is it Vela or Vela?
Bella.
Vela, okay. Probation, this is an application. All right, did you understand you're charged with driving while intoxicated with a child under the age of 15 as a state jail felony? Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility.
Yes, ma'am.
And up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, she has, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I feel she does.
Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. There's a $500 fine. State recommends community supervision, DWI intervention, VIP, and ignition interlock for half the term. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, it is.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Judge.
I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours community service restitution, and 10 days house arrest in lieu of 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
State offers State Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any
No objection.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything? Yes, I'm sorry. Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. There are two issues that I'd like to discuss with the court. Ms. Vela has been sitting in jail for the last 3 weeks, and we would ask the court to take that into consideration in reference to the 10 days house arrest. If you do impose the 10 days house arrest, she is gainfully employed, and that leads to the second issue. We would ask that the court consider allowing her to go to work and home as part of the condition of her house arrest. The second issue is the fact that her employment is in Guadalupe County. And of course, we'd ask you to allow her to travel to Guadalupe County for work purposes. She works at the Tyson Food Factory, which is right off of IH-10. We'd ask you to allow her to travel to Guadalupe County while she's on probation to continue her employment there. And then the last issue we'd like to talk to the court about is the ignition interlock for half the term. Ms. Vela does not have a vehicle. She already had the handheld device, so we'd ask you to continue her with the handheld device.
All right. So, Ms. Vela, with regards to the ignition interlock, do you live by yourself or you live with other people?
I think other people.
All right, and who are these other people? Are they relatives?
My boyfriend and his mother.
Your boyfriend and his mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Do they have a vehicle?
They do.
This vehicle that you were driving, was that your vehicle?
It was mine, no.
Whose vehicle was it?
It was my boyfriend's.
Yeah. So she's going to have ignition interlock. With regards to employment.
Real quick, is that vehicle, is it running? Is it drivable?
No.
She'll have to provide proof of that.
Okay.
But I'm going to order ignition interlock. Any other vehicles at that home?
No, just it's his truck that doesn't work and then his mom's, but I don't ever drive his mom's car.
Yeah, but ignition interlock.
Judge, the mother is here if you'd like to admonish her about her using the vehicle.
No, I mean, if a vehicle is sitting in the driveway, it has to have ignition interlock on it.
The last thing this woman should be worried about is an ignition interlock. You're in court for drunk driving with a toddler in the car, and your focus is whether your car gets a breathalyzer installed. That's the least of your problems. Then, when the judge asks about other cars at her home, she changes her answer mid-sentence. That tells you everything. You can't trust what she's saying. Even after putting her child in danger, she's still trying to play games. Should someone like this get a second chance, or does she need real time behind bars?
Now, is Child Protective Services involved?
Yes.
And the 2-year-old, where is the 2-year-old now?
With his mother, with my boyfriend's mother. She's my safety plan person.
So tell me, what were you thinking? Because I read the report, not only were you intoxicated with a 2-year-old in the car, but the 2-year-old was not even in a proper carrier. 2-year-old is just in a seat, in a seatbelt.
I don't know. It was a very selfish act of me, and I didn't think all the way through. I just wasn't thinking, and
So where
I
were
was
you
being
drinking?
selfish.
Where were you drinking?
I was with my sister.
At the sister's house? Or
No,
what?
I was going to my cousin's house.
So
So I was with my sister hanging out, and then I just thought to go hang out with my cousin. And
The question was, were you at your sister's house? Were you at a bar, at a club?
yeah, we were just at my sister's house.
So you're at your sister's house drinking. Does she have children as well?
Not that live with her.
All right. So she doesn't have children that live with her, but she has children. Another Child Protective Services case, the reason why the children don't live with her?
I don't know what her situation is. I don't know what happened, the details of her or what happened, but I just know that the dad took him. He's in the military, and the dad took him. So
All right. And so when you were at your sister's house, was the 2-year-old with you while you all were drinking?
yes.
All right. Just wandering around while you all are drinking.
Yes.
So then after you finish drinking, then what do you do? Stumble to your car? Because in the police report, it says when they pulled you over, you almost fell out of the vehicle.
I don't think the judge is trying to make you
I know.
feel ashamed. She just wants you to realize that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to realize there's so much that could have happened. You know, I had a friend, and a lot of people do not read the warning that's over the visor. And you know that warning over the visor that tells you who can sit in the front seat, and it'll tell you what their weight should be and how old they need to be. And if they're not that age and you put them in the front seat and there's an accident, the airbag will just totally sort of crush them. So my friend didn't pay attention to that, and her child was sitting in the front seat, and she wasn't driving intoxicated. And she felt so bad because her child ended up with scratches on the face. They had to take him to a surgeon to take care of the cuts to his face. But you're driving intoxicated, and you have a 2-year-old on the second passenger row that's not even in a proper car seat, just in a seatbelt. And all the people were calling because you were weaving and swerving. So how often are you drinking alcohol, and what are you drinking?
Before I got to this point, it was quite a bit, maybe every other day.
All right. So what do you know why you're drinking? What started you to drinking a lot?
Judge, if I may, on her behalf, just to help
Sure.
get her going.
Yeah.
She did commence a 12-step program. She made it through the 6th step. And I think through going through that program, I think those reasons might become clearer to her. I know one of the first steps that she learned was having to accept responsibility for her behavior. When she did end up in jail, several family members were trying to get her out, and she took it upon herself to say, "Hey, look, first thing is I got to accept responsibility. Leave me here. I'll go to court and you can deal with it." I don't know if she really.
So is there any mental health issues that need to be addressed, any past trauma? And I'm not going to ask you what the past trauma is, but is that something that needs to be addressed? Is there something like
that
that?
is beyond my personal knowledge.
Were you raised by your parents or no?
I was.
All
I
right.
just, before I had realized there was an issue, I was just doing it selfishly. I don't know why. I don't know. I knew it was an issue. I had a drinking issue, but I didn't realize how much of an issue it was until all of this happened. And it took me to get to this point to realize that what I was doing wasn't right. And I have a son to raise and look after, and I wasn't putting him first.
She claims she's drinking out of pure selfishness. No trauma, no excuses. On one hand, that's more honest than most people. On the other hand, it almost feels rehearsed, like she's reading off a script for the judge. She says she wants to do better for her 2-year-old, which sounds good. But is it real? Or is she just saying what she thinks will keep her out of jail? There's a big difference between taking responsibility and performing responsibility. If I were the judge, I'd be watching her very closely. What do you think? Genuine or just an act?
All right. So you only have one child? So here's the thing. I'm going to grant your application, but you're going to have to start making choices. And sometimes the choices that we make means that certain people can no longer be in your life. If your sister is not going to get her act together, she shouldn't be in your life. Because, for example, if you would have came to my home and there was a 2-year-old, I wouldn't have allowed people to just be drinking till they're intoxicated. I would have recognized certain things. And if I was not watching and you became intoxicated, I would have said, you're not leaving, I'm taking the keys. So you're going to have to see people as they are, not as you hope they will be, because you have a 2-year-old and that 2-year-old can't decide and say, hey, mom, I'm not getting in the car with you, you're intoxicated. That 2-year-old is 100% dependent upon you so that they don't have any trauma in their life and so that they go on into adulthood. You understand? All right. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility. It will be suspended and probated for 3 years. There's a $500 fine. That will be probated. Going to do the DWI intervention and education course. Ignition interlock for half the term. There's going to be a 2-year driver's license suspension. 120 hours of community service restitution. I know that Child Protective Services is probably making you do parenting classes. If they're not, you're going to do them. Once you completed parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied.
Thank you, Judge.
There's going to be 30 days partial GPS for employment. I'll ask that the fees be waived or deferred. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. Make sure they test for alcohol. We'll do a TAP evaluation. That can be out of custody. If you miss that TAP evaluation appointment, a warrant may be issued for your arrest because that's going to be a violation of your probation, or it may end up with you spending time at the Bexar County Jail and having them do the TAP there. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm doing the 30 days partial GPS in lieu of the 10 days in the Bexar County Jail. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I know that the Bexar County Jail, 1, has too many inmates. 2, there are health issues there. 3, there's issues with the facilities, the actual maintenance and upkeep. All right? All right. Is there anything else you need from the court? You need to say yes or no. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Something about her came across as smug. It wasn't just her words, it was a silence. When the judge asked direct questions, she sat there with nothing to say. That's not how you convince anyone you've changed, especially after a DUI with a child in the car. Yet somehow, she walked out with probation. But here's the kicker. 9 months later, she's caught driving again, this time without a license. That's not growth. That's someone ignoring the system, hoping to slip by. And now Judge Boyd has to deal with her all over again.
Bella operated a vehicle without a valid Texas driver's license in violation of condition number 12.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Driver's statement is all the violations.
Any objections?
We have no objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 12, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility
Yes, ma'am.
and a $500 fine? All right, we're on the record. Don't approach the clerk while we're on the record. All right, don't approach while we're on the record. All right. Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 12? Court will find violation of condition number 12 true. All right. Why is she driving without a license?
Would you like for me to address it, or would you like to hear it straight from her?
Sure. Could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Annabelle Bella.
Judge, she is a little nervous, so just
Oh.
just a little patient.
Yeah, don't be nervous. Just tell me the truth. Why are you driving without a license?
So I was with my friends. I know I wasn't supposed to be driving. She told me she wasn't feeling well. A couple years ago, she had fractured her spine and her tailbone, and it often causes her to have back problems where she can't walk or sit too long. So she asked me, "Is like, hey, like we're a couple minutes away, a couple miles away. Can you just finish out the drive, get us there, and then my boyfriend will drive us back, and then I can Uber you home from there." So I was like, "I'm really not supposed to, but you're not feeling well, and we can't just sit on the side of the road. So I'll just finish out the drive, and then that's it."
Did somebody have a phone to call the boyfriend?
She did, but he was at work and he was about to be off. So I don't know what, I didn't think of it at the time. So I just agreed. I was like, okay, I'll get us there. But then after that, I can't do no more because, I can't be driving, and she's aware that I can't be driving, but I'll help you out and I'll just get us there, and that's it. And it was not far. I hadn't been driving long before the cop pulled us over.
Well, see, the issue about it's not far is neither here nor there. You're not supposed to be driving, period.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you're driving and you don't have a license. And then you're driving and you're not insured. So if there were an accident and you're driving without a license and you hit somebody, you think anybody would care that, oh, it was just 2 blocks away?
No, ma'am.
Judge, if I may, on her behalf, I don't think she gave the full story the way it really worked out. This friend that she's talking about is not just a friend. It's somebody that she's met recently, and she's met her through her employment. This friend is her supervisor. She was still on the clock at work, and the supervisor was off the clock at this point. The supervisor returned to work to give her a ride home, and that's when this transpired. When she was actually getting ready to give her a ride home, and then she felt ill. I had an opportunity to run her name through DPS. She is eligible for her driver's license, and we've talked about making arrangements to get her driver's license back. No occupational license is needed at this point. It's just a matter of getting caught up on some fees and DPS fees at that, Your Honor, and paying the endorsement for the driver's license. She did self-report this. It was filed as a Class C misdemeanor because it's a driving while license invalid as opposed to driving while license suspended. And she called me. I told her bring it in. I'll help her take care of it. She reported to probation a day or two later, and she self-reported it to probation at that point. She herself is up to date on all of the conditions with probation. She's has taken some steps in life because of this probation that has made her a little bit more responsible. Not a little bit, a lot more responsible. Financially, she's making better decisions. On a personal level, she's making better decisions. And on the course here, she's trying to make some better decisions. I asked her what has happened, what's causing you to do these things, and she said, "Be honest." The judge spoke to me the last time, and she talked to me about accountability, and I'm, trying to be accountable. Thus the self-reporting and so forth.
I don't want to speak out of line, Judge, but I do believe if she would have never said anything, chances are the ticket class would have been taken care of and nothing would have ever happened. And of course, she did self-report and let the probation department know that she did receive the ticket.
All right, the court will deny the motion. Alternate amend conditions to include defensive driving. You're not supposed to drive without a license, period. I understand now that your attorney, we can go off the record, your attorney explained that the person with you was your supervisor. So I can understand feeling pressure because it's your supervisor and you could end up getting fired. But you are not allowed to violate conditions of probation. You're not allowed to drive without a license. You understand? All right, good luck to you.
Judge, can I just address one more issue that I feel like we need to address, and just to have a clear understanding? She does not own a vehicle right now.
Mm-hmm.
She is using the handheld device. She has the Scram device.
Mm-hmm.
So she hasn't had any violations and so forth. However, when she does apply for a driver's license, she has to pay for a ignition interlock endorsement, but she doesn't have a vehicle, so she will have a license that says ignition interlock, but if she is driving again, she's going to have a Scram device. I don't know how that would work with DPS.
I don't know. What would end up happening is if she has a driver's license and she has her vehicle, just come back and we'll address it.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
She claimed she was only driving because her supervisor had back issues. Convenient excuse, right? Honestly, it was one of the smoothest stories I've ever heard when facing 2 years in jail. The thing is, the first offense, drunk driving with a child, was already unforgivable, but the court gave her another chance. Then she turned around and drove again without a license. At some point, excuses stop mattering. It's a pattern that tells a story. Do you think probation was fair here, or should a short jail sentence have been the better option?